Namaskar and welcome to In Focus. My guest today is young and ambitious, but he's also a man of principle who has the courage to fight for his convictions. After his unfortunate defeat in the leadership elections for the Congress Legislature Party, how does he see the future, and more importantly, what are the principles he's now going to stand up for? Here to answer those questions is Rajesh Pilot himself. Mr. Pilot, you were the only person who openly declared his candidature for the CPP leadership. You demanded an election, you wanted a secret ballot, but at the last moment you were forced to withdraw. Looking back on the whole exercise, what did you achieve?
Well, Karan, it's not a question of what I achieved. I was keen to project few things in the party. One, I am still convinced, and I was convinced that time, that today need for the party is to have a collective leadership. And to develop a collective leadership in the party, election is the best process. And that is why I said we do not have an charismatic leader today like Indira Gandhi or Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru or Lal Bahadur Shastri or Rajiv Gandhi for that matter. So to have Congress revive, because we had suffered a setback in 1996 election, so I was keen that election process should take place for the leadership. If I was not an elected member of working committee, Karan, they wouldn't have allowed me to speak what I feel like in the party forum. When you get elected, you have that moral authority with you to speak on behalf of your,
So you were
whatever.
You were fighting to democratize the party.
So I was keen that this inner party democracy should be strengthened, so that party comes out. We are passing through a very crucial time. That was my plea. And when I found that my part of it is accepted by many people, but openly not many are coming out. So at last I said, well, I can fight within party, but I cannot fight with the party.
But I want to talk to you about inner party democracy within the Congress party. You were almost the only voice that wanted elections.
No,
Why?
there were many with me, Karan.
But they kept quiet. They didn't stand
they
up.
were all with me.
But tell me something, okay, even if you had many with you, elections to ant mein hue nahi. Why does the idea of elections worry your party?
Well, that's, as I have said it, to develop a collective leadership. How do the leadership develop? You imagine when I fought in 1992 the CWC elections, nobody thought that we all young people can make it to that level. With that, that culture, that traditions. This is a very senior.
But
he has been 30 years in the party.
You were a young man and you took a gamble and you won.
Well, I won't call it a gamble. It was a, it was an issue-based struggle.
But there are many older people who don't seem to want internal elections. Why are they scared of them?
The point is, Karan, you will see that there are many colleagues of ours who have never taken this approach, and they are all over. So this is a feeling.
You think they're scared of elections?
Well, I won't say they are scared, but they don't feel that this is the right path, or they are scared that they can do, they can tell better. But my feeling is that when CWC elections were held in Tirupati, there were a lot of objections. There were a lot of protests by senior colleagues. No, don't hold elections. Even after elections were held, Karan, if you remember, Congress president that time, Narasimha Rao ji, was elected president. There were a move by some of our colleagues that all elected members should resign.
It happened.
And it happened. Some of us did resign. I didn't resign. I said no. It is again reversing the total procedure of the inner party democracy.
But you see, this is my point. Your senior colleagues, whether it's now in 1997 or whether it was earlier in 1992, behave as if they're scared of elections. That's how it looks like to outside people.
Well, I really cannot comment on that, Karan, because this is their prerogative, what they feel about it, about the whole thing. But I always felt to be open and transparent about my views. And I still remember what Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru has said. He said, not coming out your thoughts in a forum, especially congressman, he was talking about it, is not good. But hiding your thoughts is a crime. He has said to the congressman in one of the sessions, I was reading the Congress history.
Tell me something. You have lots of senior colleagues. I don't want to talk about any one person in particular. But do you get the feeling that your senior colleagues are not as committed to internal democracy within the party as you are?
No, I won't say that. Their approach is, they say that consciousness is also democracy. No, it's an approach. They would say, yes, Mr. Pilot, is also election.
Let me put it
and
differently.
They would say that, all right, instead of secret ballot, we will raise hand.
Is a,
now, tell me how many people will...
Is a consensus as democratic as an election?
This, in my view, it is not. In my view, which I insist on. Secondly, Karan, what they were pleading, he said, all right, Mr. Pilot, we will raise hands who are in favor of so-and-so, who are in favor of so-and-so. Now imagine, I said, I am fighting a Congress president. He is a Congress president of the party. I am a worker of the party. How many people have guts to go against a Congress president? And Congress president did not declare his candidature till last.
Which is, that is the reason
Well,
why you wanted a secret
he said
ballot.
that I don't want to be, but people want me to be.
But that's why you wanted a secret ballot.
I wanted a secret ballot because I found that first meeting itself, working committee meeting, when Narasimha Rao resigned, when we met, that time itself, somebody proposed that Congress president should take over the CPP. He immediately said, no, I am not and I cannot. I am very heavy with the Congress president job. And then at that moment I said, sir, I would like to contest in the working committee itself. So please hold the elections. And then election dates were announced. 21st was the nomination, 22nd withdrawal, and 23rd December was the final election. And things were moving very all right, but certainly some process of consultation started, and they said, no, we will postpone the elections, and in between, consensus was taken up.
Tell me something, looking back, did your party make a mistake in insisting on consensus rather than elections?
Well, I cannot comment because
What's
my
your
views are
opinion?
very clear.
What's your opinion? Was it a mistake?
My views is very clear. I was keen that inner party democracy is strengthened with elections. I maintain that.
So it was a mistake not to have elections?
Well, I would say that my view is to strengthen the inner party democracy. We should always hold elections. That gives the moral authority to any individual who gets elected through that process.
फिर साथ साथ कह भी दीजिएगा मिस्टेक था कि इलेक्शंस नहीं रखे?
अब ये तो आप कहिए, मैं तो जो अपनी बात है वही कहूँगा करण।
अच्छा मुझे ये बताइए फिर कि if the party had had elections, would it have been stronger and more cohesive today?
Well, you are bringing me to the same point, Karan. I maintain that inner party democracy strengthens the elections. I think that should answer your all apprehensions.
Okay. Behind this whole question of elections was another issue that many people in our party seem to be troubled by. They seem to say that if the party has two leaders, it will have two power centers and therefore it will be lacking in cohesion. Do you accept that view?
I don't think, Karan, that is right. During Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru time, when he was the Prime Minister, there was a Congress President. Indira Gandhi was Prime Minister, there was a Congress President. Rajiv Gandhi was Congress President and Congress Prime Minister altogether. But I don't think the power center thing can come at our time. Frankly speaking, when Nehru was the Prime Minister, there were power center in every state. The Sardar Pratap Singh Karon was in Punjab. Mohanlal Sukhadiya was in Rajasthan. Govind Ballabh Pant and C.B. Gupta were in UP. Your Nijlingappa was in Congress, Karnataka. Kamrajji was in Tamil Nadu. Atulya Ghosh was in West Bengal. Everyone was at power.
आप तो नेहरू जी के ज़माने की बातें कर रहे हैं. Look at your rival parties today. The BJP has a parliamentary party leader, a president, and several other leaders. The Janata Dal has a different leader.
Frankly speaking,
they don't suffer.
BJP is not a model to be taken.
No, I'm not saying it's a model or not. What I'm saying is if other parties don't suffer by having multiple leaders, why should
you
the
see,
Congress?
that's what, Karan, I differ here. I'll tell you honestly. Other parties should copy Congress because Congress is the foundation of democracy in this country. But it is the Congress which initiated the democratic pattern in the nation.
Okay, I accept that. But यहाँ पे, what we are agreeing about is that the Congress seems to behave as if एक ही leader होना चाहिए, दो नहीं होने चाहिए, तीन नहीं होने चाहिए. That at least is a wrong approach.
That's what I have said it, that there were power centers earlier also. We should not worry about the power centers. Till such time your ideology is one.
तो मुझे ये
See,
समझाइए
only
कि
problem
ये
is
डर
that
कहाँ से आ
ideology
गया?
should be strengthened.
तो पारित साहब ये मुझे समझाइए ये डर कहाँ से आ गया आपकी पार्टी में कि अगर दो या तीन लीडर हों पार्टी कमजोर हो जाएगी?
अब ये कुछ लोगों के मन था, सबका मन तो नहीं था. Everyone was not for the two power center. Many of us who said that there is no question of any power center. Even the CPP leader has to work with the Congress president, and Congress president is the supreme in the party, as far as the party is concerned. So there is no question of two power centers.
So was this in fact some way of keeping you out? Were they targeting you?
Well, I won't say that, Karan. When you have such a big family, every member has his view, every member has his way of functioning, every member has his way of putting the things. But ultimately, their view carried forward. And I, being a family member, I saluted them. I said, all right, if you do not go with me, I accept your version and go with you.
Let me put it differently. Do you still firmly believe in the principle of one man, one post, and that is the best way for the party to
Karan, just 3 months back, not very far, May we lost the election. I think around about 4 months, 5 months back, in month of June or July, 6 members of working committee wrote a letter to then President Mr. Narasimha Rao. Who were they? Ghulam Nabi Azad, Sharad Pawar, K. Karunakaran, Balram Jakad, Ahmed Patel and me. And we insisted on one man, one post. Now what do I do? After 3 months, 5 of my colleagues say, no, it's over now. One man, one post is no more applicable. I said, all right, you may change your view, but I still maintain that this formula should be carried forward.
How do you explain the fact that they changed their view?
They are free to change.
पर आपने पूछा था उनको?
उन्होंने कहा कि आज की सर्कमस्टांसेस में ये सही है.
क्या बदला आज की सर्कमस्टांसेस में जो पहले नहीं था?
इतनी बहस कौन उनसे करे, उनका मन है, उनकी फ्रीडम है. उन्होंने कहा राजेश, इट वाज रिक्वायर्ड दैट टाइम, नाउ इज नॉट रिक्वायर्ड, आई आर गुड विद देम. अभी देखो हम सब 6 के 6 उस वक्त इस मन के थे, आज हम 4 महीने में कैसे बदल गए.
या वो आपको बाहर रखने की कोशिश कर रहे थे?
अब देखो सवाल ये करे ना, कौन क्या कोशिश करता है तो ना तुम जान सकते हो पॉलिटिक्स में, ना मैं जान सकता हूँ.
लेकिन लग रहा है जैसे ये शक आपके मन में आया तो था कि हाँ आपको टारगेट तो नहीं कर रहे.
कॉम्प्लिकेटेड गेम है ये, फौज की नौकरी नहीं है जहाँ सिखाया जाता है कि जो मन में हो चेहरे पे हो. यहाँ तो उल्टा होता है कि जो मन में हो पता ही नहीं चलना चाहिए. जो सबसे बड़ा दुश्मन हो उसके लिए कहते हैं इनकी मैं सबसे ज्यादा इज्जत करता हूँ, सबसे बढ़िया दोस्त मेरे, फिर उनका नाम लेते हैं. तो ये उल्टा ही प्रोफेशन है, उतना साफ प्रोफेशन
वो आपके साथ एक तरह की चाल खेल गए.
मुझे नहीं लगता चाल उन्होंने खेली है. उन्होंने अपने मन की बात की, मैंने अपने मन की बात की करण, और यही हमारी पार्टी की.
आप अपने मन की बात कर रहे हैं, मुझे फिर एक और बात बताइएगा जी. It's not just elections that your party seems to look as if it's scared of. The party also seems to be circumventing parts of its own constitution. Rao साहब के ज़माने में 5 साल के लिए the Central Parliamentary Board of the party was not appointed. केसरी साहब ने भी अपॉइंट नहीं किया अभी तक. Is this a proper way for the party to function?
These all problems we have discussed, Karan, in our party forum. And I would like to comment anything in a public or a media, what we speak in the party and what we need to win the party.
ना, मैं पार्टी के अंदर की राय नहीं चाहता, मैं आपकी राय चाहता हूँ. आप मुझे बताइएगा.
देखो जो मेरी पार्टी के बारे में राय है, how should my party function, I would, Karan, would like to give it in my party instead of giving on any other forum.
अच्छा मुझे एक चीज बताइएगा. Do you believe the party should have a central parliamentary board?
It's there in the constitution.
And do you think therefore it should be appointed?
Well, that is what normally is expected, that president of the party, normally there are elections for all this. There are elections for the seat of the election committee, the election for the parliamentary board.
So if it's in the constitution, Pilot Saab, by not appointing it, is that a mistake?
Well, I won't call it any negative part of it, because the president who takes over, when Narasimha was elected, he felt like, you see, parliamentary board is a body which assists the Congress president in parliamentary affairs, or
would you like to see the parliamentary board appointed?
Look, Karan, tell you very honestly, now the elections are due. They were due in March. They've been postponed for 1.5 months. By May there will be a party elections. All this will be sorted out at the time.
You're confident?
Well, I'm very hopeful that.
Are you sure that even the party elections will happen? Because वो भी 2-3 बार postpone हो गए.
Circumstances were such, Karan, that we had Punjab elections, so we had to postpone. Then some people from South or Kashmir.
और फिर उसके बाद कोई नया circumstance निकल जाएगा, postponement फिर हो जाएगी.
But don't worry about it. Congress is able to rectify. If there is any delay, we'll rectify that.
Let me ask you a simple question before I end this part of the interview. You're a man who, I said at the beginning, stands up for his principles and is prepared to fight for them. Are you prepared to fight for the early completion of organizational internal elections in the party?
Well, Karan, I don't have to announce all this. You know, I have been in Congress for 20 years. And whatever Congress has given me today, I shall do everything to strengthen the Congress in my way, which I feel that way.
Does that include fighting for early?
That includes for inner party democracy.
All right, Pilot Saab, we have to take a commercial break at this point, but I want to continue this discussion and talk about wider issues in part 2. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes. Don't go away. Welcome back to part 2 of our interview with Rajesh Pilot. Mr. Pilot, in part 1 we were talking about the CPP leadership contest and democratization within the party. I want to now touch upon another major issue, corruption. Does it worry you that almost 20 members of the Narasimha Rao government, in one way or another, today face scandals of corruption or other financial scandals?
It worried me very much, Karan. And it not worries me now, it worried me that day when we were in the government. I had raised this issue many times in the party forum, and I had pointed out to Narasimha Rao in my own way. And I was also Internal Security Minister at that time. I had also raised in my proper forum as a minister with him. But somehow my ball, or rather my word, did not carry it forward. And it got stuck. And to tell you very honestly, some of the actions of her ex-minister, especially like Mr. Sukhram, I feel ashamed as a congressman that I served in that capacity with him as a colleague of minister.
Mr. Rao, of course, ignored everything you said and in fact demoted you from internal security to environment. Had he listened to you and taken action, for instance, against Chandraswamy as you wanted at that time, do you think the party's fortunes could have been different today?
Well, Karan, it's not a question of party's fortune. Please go above party. Today the nation is suffering. And when people on higher post, जो ऊंचे पदों पे लोग बैठे हैं, जब ऐसी बातों की चर्चाएं शुरू हो जाती हैं, the credibility of politicians or credibility of people who are sitting on higher posts, instead of respect, the disrespect comes. I was speaking one of the forum at Karnataka, some bar association, and one chap got up and he asked me in Hindi, he says, "साहब, जीने को कहाँ से साफ करते हो? नीचे से या ऊपर से?" I knew what he was trying to point out to me, कि नीचे से करते हो जीना कभी साफ नहीं होता, ऊपर से करते हो जीना साफ होता चला जाता. ये फीलिंग लोगों में आ गई, which is unfortunate for a democratic country like India. And it has, our party has suffered. I don't hide on that, because एक मैसेज हो गया, अब भाई लोगों ने बहुत गलत काम किए, लोगों ने बहुत दुआ दिए, और है भी सही. आज 4 करोड़ किसी के घर में मिले और वो कहने को तैयार नहीं मुझे कहाँ से मिले हैं, किसके हैं, मैं देख के बताऊंगा, मैं सोच के बताऊंगा, मैं वापस आके बताऊंगा. इन बातों से एक करप्शन इंस्टीट्यूशनलाइज होती जा रही है, और जब ये करप्शन इंस्टीट्यूशनलाइज हो जाएगी और इंस्टीट्यूशन ही हो जाएगी तो फिर किसका भरोसा रहेगा?
आप कह रहे हैं पार्टी सफर हुई है in the past. What about today? Is the party doing enough today to clean up corruption?
Well, I am happy the Congress president has said, every speech he says that I am going to fight corruption and communalism. I think these are the two front
But
the
has he
nation is
lived
suffering.
up to his words?
Well, I am very hopeful that he will certainly keep up his words and fight for it.
पर अभी तक तो नहीं किया.
अब देखो कुछ कदम तो उठाए हैं. सुखराम
मुझे
जी
एक
को
चीज
उन्होंने
बताएं,
हटाया,
सुखराम जी को तो
एक्सपेल किया उन्होंने.
सुखराम जी को तो एक्सपेल किया ये मैं मानता हूँ, but 2 other senior ministers, Satish Sharma and Sheila Kaul, have been found guilty by the Supreme Court of breach of trust while they were in office, and they have been fined sums of 50 and 60 lakhs. What should the party do about them?
I think it must have been brought to the KCC's notice. He must be taking some view on that.
You're a senior member of the party, a very respected member. Do you think the party should expel them?
Well, if you recollect, I have already spoken on the subject that Congress cannot compromise on these issues, and Congress has to fight, because this is the party of Mahatma Gandhi, this is the party which Mahatma Gandhi.
Does that mean Congress should expel these two?
Well, this is the Congress president, because what I feel, again it will be taken that I am speaking my view. I would certainly speak in the party forum what I feel about. I have spoken already.
Okay, you said to me a moment ago that you feel ashamed to be associated with Sukhram. Those were your words, you said it a moment ago.
Yes.
Do you also feel ashamed to be associated with people like Sheila Kaul and Satish
Well,
Sharma?
any corrupt person in the party cannot be tolerated, whether Rajesh Pilot or anybody else. This Congress has to be above this, if Congress has to be Mahatma Gandhi's Congress. And I think Congress president should take all action against anybody where he found any signal of corruption or any sign of corruption visible against any individual.
That's what I'm saying. In this case, the Supreme Court has indicted these 2 people for breach of trust as ministers, and the Supreme Court has fined them 50 and 60 lakhs. So surely...
I have read it.
So you would like these people to have
I have read
action?
it, but I would request Karan to into Mr. Kesri on it. Sitaram KCG can give the right answer.
He will give the official answer, but I want
Well,
Rajesh Pilot's personal
Well,
opinion.
Rajesh Pilot has openly said, and I say, repeat it here, कि जो भी भ्रष्ट आदमी है जिसने कांग्रेस की छवि को भ्रष्ट में से जोड़ा है, उसका कांग्रेस में कोई स्थान नहीं होना चाहिए. I have been saying this.
That includes these 2.
When I say I'm talking with the whole Congress.
All right, on the 24th, the CPP Executive Committee is going to meet to decide the question of whether it should continue support or withdraw support from the UF government. What's your personal opinion?
Well, CPP can give their view, but the CWC which takes such decisions. And tell you very honestly, this is a high CWC is the forum which takes the policy decision. There is no other forum in the party which should take a policy
But मैं
decision.
आपको सवाल इसलिए पूछ रहा हूँ क्योंकि आजकल almost every day a different Congress leader says a different thing. One day
Which
they're
is
in favor, the
unfortunate.
next day again.
Which is unfortunate. You see, policy decision is only one, that is CWC.
So too many people are making too many different statements.
Well, चलता है कभी-कभी पार्टी में. We are in opposition.
मगर होना नहीं चाहिए.
We are in opposition.
मगर होना
Sometimes
नहीं चाहिए.
We are in opposition. We carry on sometime view some point in a different way. But as for the support of withdrawal or continuity support is the CWC decision, and which Congress President himself has said, till such time CWC decision is there, it stands, and the support continues.
Senior members of your party have said that they want to be consulted over the budget. If the United Front does not consult you over the budget, will that be a cause for stopping support?
Well, I have just replied to your question, Karan, that individual may say anything. CWC decision is very clear that we are supporting from outside. Our support is from outside. We are not involved in their policy making. We are not responsible for their policy making. Where we feel policy is wrong, CWC will review and tell them that this policy is wrong. Not beyond that. We really cannot, do not want to involve with them day-to-day functioning.
You said individuals can say what they want to say, but in fact it was the leader of your party in the Lok Sabha, Sharad Pawar, who said that we want to be consulted over the budget. You're saying that's not part of official policy.
This is CWC policy is that we will support it from outside. And I think as a disciplined soldier of Congress, I stand by the CWC decision.
लेकिन आप एक और चीज भी कह रहे हैं कि शरद पवार साहब जरा ज्यादा ही बोल गए।
ये आप कह रहे हो करण, मैं तो नहीं कह रहा हूँ।
लेकिन आप मेरी बात को इनकार नहीं कर रहे।
आप कहलवाना चाह रहे हो, मैं कहूँगा नहीं।
लेकिन आप डिनाई भी नहीं कर रहे।
मैं ये कह रहा हूँ कि CWC का डिसीजन मेरे और किसी और इंडिविजुअल से ऊपर है। चलिए, कांग्रेस पार्टी में CWC का डिसीजन ही फाइनल है करण।
चलिए ठीक है पायलट साहब, at least you are shedding some clarity on the nature of your relationship with the United Front. Help me also understand your relationship with another party, the BSP. Now that the BSP looks as if it's going to be fighting the Punjab elections on its own, has your alliance with the BSP broken down?
We had alliance with them in UP. We didn't have any other alliance with BSP except UP. Now I am not dealing this part of political discussion with the BSP. I think the concerned General Secretary or person who has been deputed by the Congress President can throw more light.
BSP तो ये भी कह रही है कि जो UP में होने वाले by elections हैं, वहाँ पे भी possibility है कि they may fight alone. If that happens, then it's over. But अगर वो हुआ, then it's over.
I have no knowledge, Karan, because I have not been involved in the discussion with BSP at any stage, neither in UP nor here.
What about the TMC? There's a lot of speculation कि वापस आएगी, नहीं आएगी. What's your personal opinion? Will the TMC rejoin Congress in the near future?
I really don't know, Karan. What is? They are good friends. Whenever we meet on some get-together here and there, I don't feel them encouraging to join Congress or come back.
You don't think they want to join Congress?
That's what I said, that when I meet them on get-together or somewhere, I don't feel them that enthusiastic to come back.
So जब लोग कहते हैं कि आने वाले हैं, they are exaggerating.
उन लोगों को कुछ पता होगा तभी बोलते हैं. उन पे कोई ऐसी बात होगी, उन्होंने किसी से और लंबी बात की होगी और कोई मजबूती से बात की होगी.
Pilot साहब, my last question. There is an issue that has been lying behind all this talk about alliances with different parties. It's a very simple issue. Should the Congress try and form a coalition government to replace the United Front Khichdi government, or should the Congress only form a government after it has got a clean and clear mandate from the people to do so?
Well, Karan, I am of the view that Congress should not even, consider any power as a factor. Congress is 110 years old party. Congress should strengthen the party first. Our aim is to strengthen the Congress, come back to the lost grounds where we have lost in section of societies and sectors, whether it's a rural sector or in some section of society we have lost. We should regain that.
And
become
then
a strong Congress.
And then form a
government. As for the forming the government is concerned, I personally feel, which I am of view, that no congressman is keen to form the government. Everyone wants to strengthen the party first and remain a hope of this nation. Because today even people feel that Congress is the only party which can keep this country going in the right direction and the right form. So we should not let the hope of the people go down.
So very simply, it's strengthen the party first, get a clean mandate, then form a government.
Well, I would say at some stage, if Congress party feels their forming government is also necessary, that is the party decision.
But
that
first strengthen the party.
First strengthen the Congress is our priority. This is what I feel about it.
Mr. Pilot, that's a very clear answer. Thank you very much for talking so openly to In Focus. That's it this week. We'll be back next week with another interviewee. But for today, goodbye.